Let's talk about audiobooks and homeschooling. When should you use them? How should you use them? And what are the benefits and also some negative consequences of using audiobooks in your homeschooling? Let's talk about it in this video. Let's get started. Karen, welcome back to our channel called Our House, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing if you'd like to go from questions to confidence. When it comes to homeschooling, the Robinson curriculum, I'm here to answer questions, and today we're going to talk about audiobooks. All right, so point number one is let's talk about when is it a good time for an audiobook? Well, some examples are, let's say mom wants to get an idea of a book that's on a book list that she's never heard of or read, and she wants to know, what's in it. Is it appropriate for her children? Then an audiobook version is a great way. Maybe it's a book that you want to read yourself, but you just don't have time. Well, then again, an audiobook is a great way to go about it. So we have that. We have vacations, maybe long car rides. They're great to listen to in the car. For us, even just normal day-to-day errands in the car, it just makes for a quiet, peaceful ride. Everybody is listening to the story versus, bickering in the car or whatever it may be. So that is a great time for an audiobook as well. Another example is for toddlers, small children who maybe are not reading well on their own, where they can't just go to their room and read for quiet time. And they also maybe are not napping anymore. Well, that little in-between period, that's great for audiobooks. You can put it on a Bluetooth speaker, put the book on your phone, play it, have a Bluetooth speaker and put the speaker in their room, and so they can hear the story while they're just laying in bed, relaxing, quiet time. That's another time for audiobooks. Also, if mom is sick or she lost her voice, this is a great way to still kind of have a family read aloud, is by using an audiobook. So there's lots of great benefits to them, as we just discussed, and I'm sure there's many, many more. But let's also talk about some of the negatives or situations that I think they could be a little bit abused, especially when it comes to homeschooling. Number one is keep in mind that audiobooks cannot replace you reading out loud to your children. You having a child sit on your lap and reading a story to them, or just having a family read aloud time to all your children before bed. An audiobook cannot replace that. So that's one kind of negative or caution that I would say is don't let it replace that. Again, I know there's a time and place when mom is sick, but just don't let it replace that you and your children connection read aloud time. That's one thing. And now the big one that I really want to talk about is how it can be kind of taken too far and have some negative consequences when it comes to homeschooling. I've noticed that some parents, when they hit a wall with their child or they're really struggling with a variety of issues, that they will just outsource the reading part of maybe Robinson curriculum, or this could be just any curriculum really. The reading part is kind of outsourced to audiobooks. So instead of the child sitting down and reading the book themselves, they will listen to it in an audiobook. And so I want to give you some food for thought when it comes to that. Now, I understand that there are truly children out there that have big special needs. Some children that just physically, mentally are not capable to complete certain tasks. However, I believe that most children, even those that may be a little bit on the spectrum or classified with some kind of special needs or some kind of learning challenges, I still believe that by large, those children just need A, a little bit more time, or B, a little bit more help. And what I mean by that is A, learning how to read. They just need a more thorough, maybe phonics approach, a different way, just a program to teach them how to read that is effective. B, they need to work on their memory skills, which is something that anybody can work on, even adults who say, oh, I just have a really bad memory. I just can't remember anything. I can't remember names. You can. The brain is amazing. You can still work on it. There are techniques, there are different ways that you can improve upon this if you set your mind to it. So I think some children need to work on that as far as memorizing their math facts and things like that. C, they need to work on their reading comprehension, which is again a skill that needs to be learned and mastered. And there are lots of great programs, lots of great books out there to really help a child bring the information that they're reading to the front of their mind and entertain it in their mind in a way that stays there, where they can comprehend it, where they can get to the end of the chapter and know what they just read versus, I don't know what I just read. Working on limiting distractions. I know this is a big one for maybe kids with ADHD, ADD, where they need help. They need the tools. They need you to help them, teach them how to minimize distractions. And again, there's lots of great techniques and books on how to do that as well. So while it can be tempting, especially if you're very frustrated, to just give the child a set of headphones and say, here, sit down and follow along with the audiobook, or not even following along, just listening to it on audiobook while they're multitasking, doing something else. I don't think that's the best idea. I think it's better to take the time out, however long it takes. It's okay if your child is 9, 10, still working on learning how to read. It's okay. Take the time now to help them really learn how to read, to help them with their memory, to help them with their reading comprehension skills, and to help them minimize distractions to have the most successful adult life. They will really thank you for that as they get older. So, when is a good time for an audiobook with homeschooling? I do think that it's okay once in a while. For example, if a child is getting to a harder place in the RC book list, where, there's that kind of turning point, the books are getting a little bit more challenging, the vocabulary is a little bit more challenging, that they can maybe listen to just a chapter or two, not the whole book, maybe just a few chapters, following along with a headset, listening to an audiobook, so they can hear how the words are pronounced, they can hear the rhythm, they can help visualize it better. But again, I wouldn't say the whole book. I still would make them read some chapters on their own, but just kind of, if it's a book that they're really resistant to, but they have to read it and it's a challenging book, maybe let them listen to a couple of chapters in audio format following along. But again, I would not just outsource all of it, majority of it, to audiobooks. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you. If you're interested in resources for any of those things on how to help your child learn better, I have a lot of recommendations. I could do a video just on that. If you want that, please let me know in the comments below. I do want to let you know that I created on my website a page titled Audiobook Directory. And so that has two main components to it. Number one is a lot of the Robinson curriculum titles linked to their audio format free online. Majority of these are on LibriVox. So these are free recordings. And a lot of times these are done by volunteers. So, I can't really say if it's a 5-star audio quality reading or if it's subpar. I don't know. It's volunteers. Usually they're really good and they're free, right? So there's a directory of those. I'm trying to compile as many of them as I can find. But also there's a second part with just other favorite audiobook deals from Amazon, because let's face it, a good quality narrator does make a difference in the listening experience. So some of the RC titles are also going to be in the Amazon link section. Just with more professional narration. Sometimes it's dramatic or, whatever. You can take a look at it there. They're usually, the ones that I post there are very, very affordable. And there's a little trick to them. Sometimes it's more expensive if you just purchase this audio format, the audiobook on Amazon, versus if you buy the Kindle version, which sometimes is just $1, and then you upgrade it to add the Audible book for just 50 cents more. So that's a cheaper way to go about it. That's kind of a little hack. And all the information is on that webpage, and I will link it in the description below. So I encourage you to check it out. Let me know in the comments, do you use audiobooks? How do you use them? What are your favorite ones? Where's your favorite place to find them? You can also find them on Hoopla. That's another one of my favorites. RB Digital, I think, is another one. There's lots of places where you can get free audiobooks now. You don't have to have an Audible subscription. Just through the Audible app, You don't need to have an Audible membership. But if you do want to sign up, I will put a link to that below so you can get 2 free books. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in another video. Bye.